Please welcome Eric Eversole, Vice President for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and President of the Hiring Our Heroes program.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and our Great Hall, and more importantly, welcome to the 11th Annual Warrior Symposium from the America's Warrior Partnership. My name is Eric Eversole. I am the President of Hiring Our Heroes, and we are really honored to host this event. And we know that these convenings are so important. Bringing our community together is so important. And I'm going to steal a little bit of Jim Lorraine's thunder and talk about something that he does so well, but the concept of being better together. I've had the good fortune of sitting down with Jim a couple of times over the last week as he has been in Washington, D.C., and he constantly reminds us of how important it is that we're better together. And it's made me think about, what does that concept mean? What does better together mean? For many of us, we think about our military service, whether we're military spouses or veterans or currently serving members of the military. We know that there are a group of Americans who make a commitment to something bigger than themselves. They know that there is something worth fighting for that's more important than their individual rights, or where they're from, or the color of their skin, or their religious beliefs, that there's something more important worth fighting for, and it's this country and the freedoms that we have, and it's our brothers and sisters in arms that are worth fighting for. It is why I think so many of us in this room do what we do. As organizations, as community leaders, we know this concept of fighting for something more important, giving back, is still critically important in this country. It's something that this country needs more of. But I think it's worth reminding all of us for just a second that being together can't be taken for granted. Being together isn't always forever, unfortunately. It takes work. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of commitment. And it takes people with the passion for service, people like Jim Lorraine, to keep fighting each and every day for our military community. And it takes organizations like America's Warrior Partnership that bring us together in events like this, that are constantly helping our service members and their families through whatever struggles they're having or whatever triumphs they're having, helping them achieve their goals and dreams. So while Jim may say we're better together, I will say that we are certainly better together, but we are better because of people and leaders like Jim Lorraine, and we are better because of organizations like America's Warrior Partnership. So again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for your passion and commitment for our military families. And it is now my pleasure to introduce the chairwoman of America's Warrior Partnership, Kate Migliaro.
I'm Kate Migliaro. Oh, I guess I should have waited for the music to end, before. It's already been a hectic morning, so, and this just accelerates my nervousness first thing at 9 a.m. to speak in front of all of you. But welcome to the 11th Warrior Symposium. It's hard to believe that we've been doing this now for over a decade, large in part thanks to supporters and sponsors like you all in the room. We're so excited to have friends and our friends and communities across the country tuning in virtually. I want to start by thanking Hiring Our Heroes for co-hosting this event with us at the beautiful, historic Chamber of Commerce. I would also like to thank our event sponsors. With their support, we're able to bring you this event filled with insight, sharing of best practices, and networking with the most influential leaders in the private and public sector in the spirit of this year's theme, Together We Can Do Better. And one of the ways we talk about how we accomplish this is by leveraging businesses as a catalyst for community integration. We will have conversations on this stage and among each other that highlight best practices, peel back the layers on pressing issues, and explore strategic opportunities to maximize government and non-government programs while building thriving, sustainable veteran communities nationwide, all in the setting of some of our nation's most historic and patriotic backdrops. Each venue tells a story of America's history. This week, as we convene here, where our forefathers walked, we know the need is stronger than ever to work together to be a catalyst for positive change, and we will focus on this in the veteran space. At AWP, we recognize that partnerships are the backbone to everything we accomplish. Everything we do at AWP has been focusing on what matters most: preventing veteran suicide. Too many times, I receive a note like I did just last week, reading, "With a heavy heart, I regret to inform you about the unexpected passing of Daniel Smith." Many of you will remember Dan from the time as a Blackstone Mint during the summer of 2019. A dedicated U.S. Marine, raider, and sniper, Dan began the military career in July of 2005, and throughout carried himself with distinction and valor. For his service, he earned the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal. He received a Purple Heart for wounds sustained in combat in Afghanistan. We tackle suicide from a unique and sometimes overlooked holistic perspective by expanding our partnerships and working together to empower veterans and their communities. At AWP, suicide prevention is not a standalone program, but rather the outcome of best-in-class service, collaborative care, compassion, and productive partnerships that begin with a trusted, meaningful relationship. We do this through the AWP network, which serves local community nonprofits in all 50 states. Through our corporate veteran initiative, by collaborating with companies to strengthen veteran support within the workforce, through access to community resources. And through our community affiliates and branches focused on individualized, holistic support to work upstream by preventing suicide through improved quality of life ahead of any crisis. In 2023, we established personal relationships with over 8,000 veterans. But we dove deeper by identifying 263 who contemplated suicide just 30 days before we met them. I am proud that we maintained a trusted relationship with these veterans to ensure this idea did not become a final act. Whether you're a nonprofit or corporate partner, you're doing great things alongside us, bringing your organization's strengths, connections, and resources to the table, because we know that together we can do better. I want to leave you with just one final story. Jim will probably kill me when I get off this stage, so if you don't see me later, I'm somewhere underground. But often people ask me, how did you find AWP? And the truth is, AWP found me. I was at UBS thankfully, from Jason, who made sure I was connected to the veteran community when I got there. And we were hosting an event called From Battlefield to Boardroom with 60 transitioning veterans who, most highly educated, were looking to pivot into financial services. And Jim Lorraine was one of our guest speakers. And I was blown away. Jim didn't talk about AWP. He talked about all the support in this room and all the nonprofits that could help connect veterans to the services. When we got done with the event, like any good soldier, we did an after-action review. And in the presentation, Jim had given out his personal cell phone, which I thought was nuts, by the way. And so in our after-action review, Jim said, you wouldn't believe, he has the statistic, but almost 54 of the 60 veterans that were in that room reached out, needing some type of help. Connection to the GI Bill, VA healthcare. That for me was a profound moment. Not only that I needed to stay involved and connected with this organization, but the selflessness that Jim exuded on that day to make sure he got to know every one of those service members and ensure they were connected to a community was really meaningful. I think it's easy to look up at somebody on the stage and think they have it all together, but for a very long time, I was pretty lost in my journey to find purpose and be connected to the community that I felt so close to during my service. So with that, I commend all of you for being here, for your willingness to work together. We could not do this work without you, and the veteran community is inevitably better because you have raised your hand to continue service to this community. With that, I would love to welcome Jim Lorraine to the stage.